Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our July 9th Waynesboro Area School District Board of Directors meeting. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you and welcome again this evening to our regular board meeting summer edition. Let's start with roll call.
Mr. Hamburger,
Of course, when they get to drink.
here. Mrs. Miles,
Here.
Mrs. Fortney.
Here.
Mr. Pence.
Here.
Mrs. Zimmerman.
Here.
Mrs. Straight.
Here.
Dr. Boyer's not here. Mr. Marvin.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here. Okay, thank you. And we move to approval of the agenda for tonight.
Second.
Second.
Questions?
Here first.
I was inordinately quiet.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we move to the approval of minutes from our June 25th meeting. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Move to our superintendent's report, Dr. Sternheim.
Okay, so I believe Dr. Deshawn spent an interesting day with Steels training or yeah, sites on Steels. And so summer is up and rolling with a lot of professional development. We had our learning support teachers here for 3 days last week for Wilson reading training. And this is a little premature in announcement, but I was super excited that Alicia Sambauer, who is a social studies teacher at WASH's, prior to becoming an educator, she had worked at Franklin County, did a lot of grant writing. And so she has become our contracted grant writer, and she is so incredibly efficient and she does such an amazing job. So as of today, we got a congratulations. We're pleased to inform you that your application for the 2024-26 Developing Future Education Grant, Educator Grant has been accepted. We will be receiving $20,000 for 2 years. So very excited for the special ed department. And a big thank you to the special ed team as well as Alicia for pursuing this grant. And yeah, so keep it coming.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Do we have public comment? No. Thank you. No public comment. So we move down to presentations. And this evening, we will hear from Leadership Franklin County Service Project. Dr. McCallum, what's the way? Yeah.
Hello, everybody. It is my privilege to introduce Addison Calloway and Elizabeth Seary, who were our 2023-24 representatives to Leadership Franklin County Youth. So continuing our initiative of having student presentations, I thought it would be excellent for them to share what they did as their project and kind of what they learned. I believe we have 5 students for the upcoming class. So it's always students selected in their freshman year, and they participate during their sophomore year. And I'll let the young ladies explain a little bit more about that. So Addie and Ellie, come on. Do it, talk into the microphone so that those who are viewing online can hear you. And I'm going to leave you be.
Got it. Thank you. Hi, so I'm Addie,
And my name is Ellie.
and we're from Leadership of Franklin County Youth. This will work. Alrighty. So this is actually supposed to be in past tense. What did we do? Because we are no longer in the program. We really worked on our leadership skills, and we learned a lot about like how to do public talking, which we are doing right now. We learned about how to communicate with others efficiently and how to figure out problems and just get to know people better and how to lead them.
Because this was across several different schools, we got to meet a lot of other students that were also selected from the program, and it really helped us to connect more with our community and different people that were in the community.
Yeah, and we also got to help the community through this because there was a community service project that we did, and there was more on that later. Alrighty. So I picked a quote that I thought really reflected this program, which is strive for progress, not perfection, because nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's ever going to be perfect, but we can always strive for progress. And it's such a good thing to go for. And a way that we did that was going through certain lessons each time that we met, every Tuesday of every month, not every Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month. And we did different lessons, and we would like to share what our favorites were. There we go.
My favorite lesson was challenging the process, which is where we got to think outside the box and find a lot of different solutions to different problems. And this is my favorite because I thought it was really fun to just be given a problem and break down the simple steps to try to find a solution.
Yeah, and this picture really represents what mine was, which was enabling others, which is like encouraging people and making sure that others are brought into projects and included. And that just really spoke to me because I really like just having everybody involved and not just being like broken up into groups and being like, all right, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Like, no, we should all come together and work towards a common goal. Yeah, and that leads into what our community service project was, which was sophomores share the love.
So we wanted to give hearts to people that were in nursing homes. So over Valentine's Day, we got hearts, we cut them up, and we got boxes, and we asked all of the sophomore PLTs, which is personalized learning time that they have every single day, to write Valentines that we would deliver to the nursing home residents so that they could get a Valentine.
Yeah, and it was a great experience, like going through all of those notes and stuff. It was so enlightening just to be able to see how kind people can be, and we had to go through them because high schoolers. And you never know. But there were so many. I think we had like we definitely over 100.
I still have some.
You still have
that I'm
them?
probably
Oh.
gonna give for next year.
Yeah, but it was a very successful project, and I'm very glad that we did it. And there's some more pictures that we have here. It was just really nice to see everybody, and you have some more experience with that because where did we deliver to?
Trinity Nursing Home and
The Leland?
the Leland.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see all of the people that received them. They were all really happy to just receive just like a small heart, and it was just really nice because they were all really excited and they like to talk about traveling and a bunch of other things that were really fun to talk to them about.
Yeah, and this was just a really good experience because talking to older people is just, it's so good. And I think the younger generation should do it more.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's LFCY for us. Yeah. And I would like to thank Ginny and just being here through the process the entire time with us and teaching us so much. Thank you. And thank you for this experience to let us present to the school board.
So just a brief comment. Dr. Sterner and I had the opportunity to go and attend their graduation. And so there were multiple schools presenting across the county. And I don't think I am biased, but I think it's true. You two ladies were vying for, I think, the best presentation there. And I think we see that just in the example. You weren't reading off of the screen. You were very composed and articulate, and you also had a great project that touched the community. And I like how leadership Franklin County Youth tabs you as a freshman. You go through it in sophomores because that means that we get you for 2 more years. And so I hope that you continue to challenge the process and enable others through your remaining time with us. And they did get a medallion at their graduation. And I know the superintendent, so I think it's okay if in a couple of years when you graduate from here, that you have that as a part of your graduation. But well done, both of you. And it was a privilege to see you guys when you graduated back in May. You guys did a fabulous job.
Any other board member comments, questions? All right. Thanks again for presenting to us this evening. We're always excited when sort of the end product, if you will, of what we're here meeting about once a month comes and kind of demonstrates that to the community. And that's why we feel like it's important. There's so many good things going on in this district, but we have to share them with people. And so that's what we are starting, and we want to continue to do that. So please come back and keep us updated on what's going on. Thank you. Appreciate it. Right. No student board reports, but we did have a student board report, sort of. Yes. And let's see, let's move to board reports. Anything from policy committee? Okay.
I
Alana?
think we're in the process of we're still setting the dates,
Yes,
to
yeah.
try to be consistent,
Okay.
and working on the policy calendar. So,
Thank you.
probably, I think we set a date sometime in August.
Thank you. And then, all right, thank you,
Yeah.
folks. Academic,
I don't think we're
Yeah,
until September.
September.
and then facilities.
There's a lot of
is
stuff
on-
going on.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So, let's see, everybody's on hiatus here. Okay, and facilities budget.
Facilities will meet next week, Tuesday, the 16th, here in this room at 5:30 PM. Budget, we will not meet again until September. However, I think I reported last time, that there was no state budget, and this time there's still no state budget. So, the good news is that we as a district still have some headway, and that will be okay, even if until the state gets their act together. Hopefully they don't prolong it for a couple of long months, but because of previous iterations where the state has not passed their budget, they have built in safeguards kind of going forward in that we will receive similar allocations to what we received last year. Sometimes it is on a later time frame, but it is, we will not go without. We should be able to quote unquote open the doors on time, so to speak. But you know, again, we are kind of it's an interesting part of our Commonwealth that we as a district have to pass our budget before the state passes theirs. So that's all I have on budget.
Thank
How about
you.
back to facilities? How's it going at?
I'm gonna punt that to
No, it's going fine right now. So they
Okay.
started right at the end of June. So they're rolling through in sections. As they work through a section, then the flooring company comes in behind to put their new flooring down in that area. So far, no major problems or issues that we're aware of. So,
Good to hear.
yeah, so everybody's working together well, which is always very good to hear, especially when you have multiple companies working together.
And
They're working
facilities,
inside.
I had asked a question about Maury's
we haven't met.
playground.
We haven't met since, we didn't meet in June, so we, will have it on the docket then for next Tuesday.
A lot of holes out there. Dangerous holes.
Thank you. Let's see. So first order of business, personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Good evening, everybody. We have a number of personnel recommendations we'd like to make to you and seeking your approval for. We have 2 professional staff resignations, and we want to thank them for their time they've spent here at Waynesboro Area School District. We also have 2 support staff resignations, and we want to thank them also. If you'll notice, we have 4 professional staff reassignments that are listed there, and I certainly can answer any questions if you have any on those. We have 2 support staff reassignments and 2 pay adjustments with folks. And then we have 3 professional staff recommendations we'd like to make to you also. At WAMS grade 6 ELA, Ashley Oshleman. We have Emily Baffile for biology at Washes. And then we have Teresa Harrison to special education.
All right, thank you. So is there a motion to approve personnel as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I had a question. How often are the reassignments usually on the elementary level? Is that where like movement is? Between the schools? When there's reassignments, like from one school to another?
Yeah, so Mr. Pence, I shot you that email and explained
Yeah.
that situation to you. Yeah, so just going off of that, it can happen occasionally and it's going to depend on enrollment and numbers. Again, the situation that you're asking about took place at Fairview. They had 5 teachers and their numbers were like 5 teachers per ratio to 18 or 18 kids, I believe it was, where Hooverville was they had 2 teachers at 28. All right, so because of the numbers, it decreased and we were able to move a teacher, which then helped to support the class enrollment at Hooverville. So it went from 1 to 28 to 1 to, I believe it was 1 to 19 at Hooverville and 1 to 22 at Fairview. So it was more of a balanced situation there. We really prefer not to have 1 to 28, especially in the primary grades with students. I can't speak historically, Dr. Sterner-Hein could. I don't believe it's happened a lot.
Is it once a year, once every couple years, or
you know.
like how?
Yeah, I mean, so ultimately, one of the things we do with our teachers is during the course of the spring, they have an intention sheet. So there are some situations where teachers have requested transfers. So if the availability would become, at one of the elementary schools, they will ask for a request to transfer. In other cases, it's a matter of balancing enrollment. Prior to the realignment in 2019, we would oftentimes fill Hooverville, Summit View, and then we would run transfer buses to be able to get students to Fairview and to Maury. So at this point, when we did the realignment, we essentially said that these are the established boundary lines for attendance, and that we sort of need to like essentially stick with that or look at increasing like the number of teachers or like essentially living with the ratio. It gets pretty complicated at a place like Hooverville, or they're only 2 deep, like, you know what I'm saying? So it does become a little bit of a numbers game where we try to transfer one teacher over in order to balance the caseload, the enrollment. And then it could, again, in a holding pattern, inadvertently create another issue in another building. So it usually happens about once at least once or twice, like every school year, but it's not nearly as frequent with the realignment because we're sort of holding fast on that. And we've been very fortunate, like another example where one of the elementary buildings, because of their lower enrollment, they were able to go from 3 to 2. And then we took that teacher had retired, and we took that contract and transferred it out to Maury where we had larger class sizes. So ideally, that is a conversation that we would probably continue to have on the academic committee level in terms of what our district would like to see moving forward. Like, are we saying that we would like to have class sizes of like 22, K to 3 or K to 2, and then 24. We try to come up with an ideal, but with the 4 different elementaries, sometimes it's difficult to balance. And oftentimes, we enroll students the entire summer, but then sometimes we get a whole wave that like right after Labor Day. So we try to do the best we can in terms of balancing enrollment.
And it's not unique to Waynesboro either, Mr. Pence or, board. I mean, it happens across districts. When prior districts I've been in, where you had 8 elementary schools, it was a constant number game. And often kindergarten, last week of school, and then if you have a university town, you have a lot of people moving in, grad students, and your numbers would rocket out of the sky with kindergarten. Or a lot of parents want to keep their kids in private schools in kindergarten, and then our first grade numbers would rocket. So, so we were shifting and bumping teachers, not only internally, but then sometimes across schools. So.
We've shifted on the secondary level as well, like math teacher at the high school or another math teacher to add additional teams. So it has transferred. Ideally, we try to honor requests and, be cognizant of if somebody would like to, move to this school or this level. In some cases, what we have to do is refer to as involuntary transfers. In other words, we have to look at the students across the board, the teachers across the board, and make a recommendation.
And it is also shared, depending on your credentials too. Like, we had a situation where we were able to shift a person who had a math, certification, to another position to for that position that Dr. Weinkoop, vacated. So.
Okay, thank you. The question, so we moved to our second, and that is the agreement with the Franklin County for transportation for students in foster care. Dr. Holzman?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this is the annual agreement that we have with Franklin County. What Franklin County does is they reimburse us 50% of the cost for students that we transport that are in the foster care program. So if a student is placed in a location outside of our district, typically this is the situation, then we would go ahead and transport that student, of course. But we are able to charge Franklin County for half of that.
Okay, so the motion is approve the agreement with Franklin County. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions for Dr. Holzman? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Next, overnight trips for the 2024-25 school year. One of honors.
I can do that.
Okay.
So essentially what you have is planning ahead. We have, three, trips that, for our learners at WASH's and, as, required by board policy, those trips, overnight trips would have to be approved.
Okay,
So the recommendation is to approve the student council and the FBLA trips, scheduled for the 2024-25 school year.
there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second, okay, any questions?
Comment,
Mhm.
I'm glad that we've got teachers at the high school that are willing to do this. I wasn't a teacher, but I did trips with youth for about 15 years through my church. Different, and I know it takes a special kind of person to take those kids. At least these guys are sleeping in hotel rooms. We often slept on gym floors on air mattresses, but I am tickled to death that we've got people that are willing to do this. These kids learn a lot from all of these and
True.
glad. I'm full support.
Okay, all right. Okay, do we vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, K through 12 systems, 5-year contract.
I guess I could cover it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, I
apologize.
mean, I can also do it as well.
Sure,
Mr.
yeah.
Erickson, had put this information in his Friday folder, and essentially it is one of the topics that he normally covers. But we have been utilizing the Sapphire system for a number of years. This is actually a 5-year agreement. And the recommendation would be to approve, this student information system for 5 years, and the agreement is listed in.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions?
But I'll just briefly comment that 6% for 1 year and then holding flat for 4 is a great deal for any contract. Especially nowadays. So, the fact that it's flat for 4 of the 5 years, I think is good.
This is the system that our parents use to,
Sapphire.
and James, is it fairly easy to use?
My wife says it's great to use.
Okay.
She says she has an easy time navigating, I'll put it that way.
It has the message stance of approval.
Then we
Yes.
got
Yeah.
So it's for, the teachers utilize it for the grading perspective. Principals put the student information, any type of documentation, discipline.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've used it for a number of years, and it archives, and, essentially then you can go back multiple years and. So yeah, and that's how we essentially send out our borough blast. That's a notification system that we utilize as well. So,
Good.
yeah, so we're satisfied.
Any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we'll move to our 5-year agreement with Turner Installation and Safety.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this is a renewal request for Turner. We have a current 5-year agreement with them in place to continue to do another 5-year. They're actually willing to keep their prices flat. This is really a unique service. They come through and they're doing those safety inspections on a lot of different pieces of equipment that, especially everything from gym hoists to walls to bleachers and things of that nature. So it's something we do on a regular basis to make sure those items remain safe and remain maintained properly as well. But again, very appreciative. I apologize. This is just the way they've always done it with their agreements. They always give it on individual agreements. If you notice, there's a number of them there, but that's just traditionally how they've always provided their contracts and agreements.
Sports related.
It could be athletics or even gym class, things of that nature. Yes, ma'am. And actually, in some cases, it's, some of the walls and auditorium areas and things of that nature. So there's some other safety issues, some other parts of the building, but
Okay. So the motion is to approve the 5-year contract with K-12 systems. Is that right?
So move.
I'm sorry,
Second.
no. Is that- Oh, I'm sorry, with Turner Installation and Safety. Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, so move.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
thank you.
Okay, we'll move to financial business. We have property assessment, exonerations. 1 through 5, if you want.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No
So
problem.
we have a couple property assessment changes. Those are either due to disabled veterans, or in some cases, we have some properties that were raised. So the tax removes the building or the improvement, but keeps the land in place. Then we also have one exoneration from the old per capita tax. We do have some judicial, excuse me, if I can say that correctly, judicial sales for taxes. Those are 2 of those properties. Traditionally, they've always been a most common single wide trailer, unfortunately, but whenever those do occur, but they do go through a process. It takes several years to get to that point. So the judicial sales, the second part, the upset sale is first. If that doesn't work, then they go to the courts and go through a process to go ahead and try to get it back on the tax rolls so that somebody will start paying some taxes on them. And then last, we have purchase orders and bills for payment. Those are both for the general ledger and for the cafeteria.
Okay. Thank you. So motion is approved. Financial items 1 through 5.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions?
I have one question. So the disabled veteran, what percentage of disability must a person have to?
If I remember correctly, it's 100%.
It's 100%.
Yeah, I think in the way our system is set up, it's, and it's actually not our decision, of course, it comes in from the
Yes.
county, but it comes in, it has to be 100%. And then there's even income levels and income limits there too as well. So, yeah, it probably have far more people who are disabled veterans than we have exemptions.
Right, because they're not all.
Yeah,
100%.
but it's interesting. I probably could go and ask the county to see what we have in terms of numbers. It's been a few
okay.
years.
It was just.
Sure, no, it's a good question to ask.
Any other question?
And I would make, I'm sorry, real quick, as a follow-up on that. We have probably seen more of these recently because if you notice, there was a lot of cases everywhere from, from Guam to, I'm trying to think is it Camp Lejeune was the other one? Or, yeah, Camp Lejeune was the other one. So with a lot of those claims that had just been approved in the last couple of years, we're starting to see many people who are now considered 100% disabled veterans. And now we're starting to see those exemptions come through, but it was very rare before that, probably up till 5 years ago.
Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. We move down to Clayton Cabinet comments. Anyone?
Yeah, I just want to, hey, Mr. Marvin, last meeting, you had indicated, you didn't realize what happened over the summer, and took place, Well, my sister, the past, I don't know, since then, I had like 3 or 4 people say, what do you do over the summer? So I pulled out my calendar and I started reading to them, so like, and, kudos to everybody, like even yesterday, Dr. Stern, I mentioned about Stills Day. We had like 20 some teachers, K-12. Today, we're trying to trying to stay on top of the stills and really starting to unpack the standards and what does that look like as we move forward. Yesterday, we had a group of folks starting to write common assessments at the middle school. And I think there were a few at the high school also with Dr. McLaughlin from the IU. So yeah, there's always something going on and happening, so.
Thank you, sir.
I also want to share out that at the end of this week, I will be sharing to the community an annual report. And within that, it will be within the Borough Blast, there'll be a link. And then there also will be a FID survey for the upcoming year. At this point, we are still waiting on our application to be approved, but essentially what we'll do is I will conduct a survey to see where our community as well as faculty and staff stand on the continuation.
And will we receive a copy of that report? too?
Yes, I will put it in the Friday folder.
Oh, well, thank you
So,
very much.
yeah.
Okay, so board comments, anyone? Good of the
I have
order.
something.
Mr.
I
Pence?
think it was great to see the Chevron deference struck down by the Supreme Court. I think that's gonna mean a lot to districts and healthcare and different things where we won't be beholden by unelected bureaucratic agencies. So it'll be exciting to see how many lawsuits come forward, and I think we're beholden by so much regulation that it's handcuffs you so much. So I think that's gonna be good for us and other districts.
Anyone else? Good of the cause. I'm just gonna piggyback on what you're all talking about, preparation over the summer. And one of the things that I know that goes on in these buildings is that the staff, custodians have to go in and what they do, a deep cleaning and taking every single thing out of the room, cleaning it, putting it back. And the whole waxing process of the floors or whatever, all of that work that goes on to prepare our facilities for students to come back on time. So we appreciate the work that everyone does here in the district, and so shout out to everyone who's preparing. Like, what do you do during the summer? What do you just sit back and play volleyball?
Yeah.
During the summer? All right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Petition, Jim.
All right. Any other board comments or anything for the good of the order? Okay. And so is there a motion to adjourn?
Oh,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. No opposed? Thank you.
Actually, we'd like to have a short executive session.
Okay. So we will now after